We're told that f of 7 is equal to 40 plus 5e to the 7th power, and f prime of x is equal to 5e to the x. What is f of 0? So to evaluate f of 0, let's take the antiderivative of f prime of x, and then we're going to have a constant of integration there. So we can use the information that they gave us up here, that f of 7 is equal to this. This might look like an expression, but it is an expression, but it's really just a number. There's no variables in this. And so we can use that to solve for our constant of integration, and then we will have fully known what f of x is, and we can use that to evaluate f of 0. So let's just do it. So if f prime of x is equal to 5e to the x, then f of x is going to be equal to the antiderivative of f prime of x, so the antiderivative of 5e to the x dx. And this is the thing that I always find amazing about exponentials. And actually, let me just take a step. I'll take that 5 out of the integral so it becomes a little bit more obvious. And so the antiderivative of e to the x, well, that's just e to the x, because the derivative of e to the x is e to the x, which I find amazing every time I have to manipulate or take the derivative or antiderivative of e to the x. So this is going to be 5 e to the x plus c. And you can verify, take the derivative of 5 e to the x plus c. The derivative of 5 e to the x, well, that's 5 e to the x, so that works out. And the derivative, and the derivative of c is 0, so you wouldn't see it over here. So now let's use this information to figure out what c is, so that we know exactly what f of x is, and then we can evaluate f of 0. So we know that f of 7, so when x is equal to 7, this expression is going to evaluate to this thing, 40 plus 5e to the 7. So 5 times e to the 7th power plus c is equal to 40 plus 5e to the 7th power. And notice all I did is said, okay, f of 7. Well, if this is f of x, let me write this down. So if this is f of 7, if this is f of x, I just replace the x with a 7 to find f of 7. And we know that f of 7 is also going to be equal to that. They gave us that information. But when you just look at this, it's pretty easy to figure out what c is going to be. You can subtract 5e to the 7th from both sides, and you see that c is equal to 40. And so we can rewrite f of x. We can say that f of x is equal to 5e to the x plus c, which is 40. And so now from that, we can evaluate f of 0. F of 0 is going to be 5 times e to the 0 power plus 40. E to the 0 is 1, so it's going to be 5 times 1, which is just 5, plus 40, which is equal to 45. And we're done.